goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Connaughton, joined by my fellow co-hosts, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
Welcome back, nerds. This is the second part of our epic two-part Ghostbusters review, so buckle in and enjoy the rest of the ride.
It's a sequel, so it's very similar to the first part.
Very true, very true.
If you missed the first part, make sure you check out cinemapsychoshow.com for more details, and you can find previous episodes on iTunes.
Right. I just think that
you know?
there were opportunities to make a better movie that just weren't taken.
Absolutely were.
They just weren't taken. It was quite literally just taken to, and that's kind of my issue with the whole. I guess you could call it male sexism, if you want to call it that. Just the whole fact that every man was either an idiot or
right. And I mean, I think
I just felt like that became kind of the paramount thing to get across.
Yeah.
Than the story.
But I mean, I think that they could have made a movie where like there was just people.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know.
Why? Yeah. That's my problem with it, and that's kind of the big thing I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
All this other shit got in the way of telling a story.
Yeah, totally.
And the story we end up with was not that great. And that's what I'm saying. It's not terrible. It's not as terrible as people were saying it was going to be.
And I didn't think there was any problem with the Ghostbusters being women. I had no problem with that at all. I really felt bad because we haven't talked about her yet, but I thought Leslie Jones, I think she'd be really great in movies, but I just didn't feel like the writers gave her anything to work with.
No, they didn't.
And I felt like it was a shame because I thought I liked her.
They just said scream in every scene.
Shit.
That's the problem I had with her.
You guys love Kate McKinnon, and I couldn't stand her. And Leslie Jones was the redeeming factor for me for the movie.
No, I mean I loved her. I loved her, but I thought that where the writing failed her most of all. Because I thought she was great. I thought she was really good in it.
Although her whole reason for joining the team,
they never really gave a reason.
Like, I know New York City. It's
and I just want to be here now.
Google Maps
but I mean too, like it just was like, well, I just want to be here now. Like I just, and I know that there was, sense. Well, and I know that there was a lot of controversy too that the only black one wasn't a scientist, and I thought that was a shame. Just make her a fucking scientist.
I didn't think that.
Why did you have to?
Why couldn't she be a scientist?
Yeah.
And they even say, well, all three of us are scientists, and Patty.
Yeah.
And Patty. It's like. Why? Why'd you do that shit?
I thought that was dumb. I thought she should have been a scientist.
Well,
like, why not?
Winston wasn't a scientist.
Well,
but that's dumb. Like, none of them were modeled after the other characters anyway. No. You know? There was no correlation for any of the other ones, but...
Well, the only connection was that there were four of them, and there was one black one who wasn't a scientist, and they followed that.
Which is so dumb. That's not what you should do. But, I mean, I did think that Leslie Jones was great in this. I think that she was great on the big screen. Because I thought she
was good on the big screen. I just had a problem with the fact that, as you said, the writing didn't give her much. And it just kind of made her just scream.
Yeah, well, and too, like that stupid line from the trailer when like they don't grab her at the mosh pit, like that's a dumb line. Like that was badly written. I don't understand how that even made it through test audiences. But like then there were moments where like that big winged thing had her by the shoulders, and she's like, "I'm just gonna go." Like that was funny. Like she was really funny. Like she's very expressive and like I don't know.
I didn't hate it.
Can you speak more to Leslie Jones since you said you enjoyed her? Like, was there anything about her performance that stuck out to you in particular?
She wasn't horribly distracting, and she wasn't wallpaper.
No,
I felt
she wasn't bland.
I felt Kristen Wiig was wallpaper. I felt that
Melissa McCarthy was also wallpaper.
And then Kate McKinnon was so distractingly odd and just was not directed. Like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go crazy, and then Paula Feig is like, well, as long as I get my paycheck.
I don't know. I thought Kate made some
Leslie
good choices.
Jones, I thought, was actually, and the thing is, she was the most grounded character too, because of the fact that she wasn't a scientist. She was just like an average, normal, everyday person.
But she was extremely likable too, which not every actor can pull off. She was. Right. I thought she was very likable.
And the thing is, for her type of humor, actually, usually is being unlikable. It's actually very funny that she was the most likable and relatable character.
Like this is the same woman that brought us like Naked and Afraid. The skit. Have you seen that? The Naked and Afraid that she does with Peter Dinklage.
No.
All of y'all look that shit up. It is hysterical. Oh my god, it's so funny. And she is so funny. this was definitely, I think, a different part for her because, again, like, it wasn't, like you said, being unlikable, which is sort of like the joke with a lot of the comedy that she's able to do on SNL. But, I mean, I thought she was absolutely amazing in this.
Well, it's odd. This film was a shameless rehash of the first film.
Yeah,
Not
it
as
really
flagrant as The Force Awakens, but very much.
You
Right.
you really hate The Force Awakens.
He does so much. It's sad.
I don't hate it. I hate that it exists, but I thought the film was okay.
Okay.
I thought it was a very
Fair
good
enough.
remake of New Hope.
Oh, you with the
But
face.
they go through the same motions.
The motions
they
were
did in the
pretty
first
similar.
film.
So I have a question
In
for
the
you
original
guys
film.
that I think is interesting.
Yes.
So I thought that the opening of the film was actually very good.
No.
I really liked it. So I don't care.
I'm really sorry
thought
that
it was
Brian and I
I
are
thought
just
it was a
teaming
good
up on you on
opening.
this
That's okay. I thought it was a good opening because I thought that that guy, I don't remember the actor's name, but Gabe from The Office.
Gabe from The Office.
Well, he's Gabe from The Office, and he's also on what the hell show is it? It's on HBO. It's about
Silicon
startups.
Valley?
Yeah, Silicon Valley.
Oh, cool. I didn't know he
Yeah.
was in that. Sorry, Gabe. But I mean, I thought he was like quirky looking enough that I thought it was good to open it with him. And like, so now maybe this will like shed some light on it. So I thought that the opening scene was very good until I realized that ghost like didn't kill him or make him disappear or like that he was fine. Because I felt like it took away all of the stakes and all of the drama of the first one.
The whole thing with all the ghosts. I didn't find any of them scary.
Oh, I mean, I thought the rendering.
None.
What did you guys think of the effects?
I thought they were
Can I-
fucking god awful.
Before we jump into that, can I just say that, and here I go comparing it to the original again, but they did themselves, so
I don't know.
They
I don't know.
can
I don't
lie
know
in their own
that we
bed.
necessarily need to compare, but
but the opening in the library in the first one was so cool because it was such a slow build.
Yes.
You saw the books moving, you saw the card catalogs open, and then you don't even see the ghost in the opening. It just goes to her screaming, and there's a light, and her hair's blowing, and then, cut to the opening credits, and then, not until the Ghostbusters get there, a couple scenes later, do you actually see the ghost. Like, it was subtle, it was funny, it was clever. In this one, it was everything in the kitchen sink.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not saying it was as good as the original.
It had a lot of the same beats.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where getting to the whole, following the whole damn, map that the original already made. It had a lot of the same beats of that opening scene, but I just thought that it wasn't done nearly as artfully, I guess you could say. I said this when we did the summer movie preview, is that Ghostbusters, the original, was designed and edited in a sense to be like a horror movie.
Yeah.
This wasn't.
No.
And
like I said,
when you've got the guy from The Office going ahead and saying, oh, and this is so-and-so, and that's where he made a wall against the Irish because he hated Irish. No, that's a wink and a nod to, Trump supporters. Or he's like, they threw jokes in there. Mm-hmm. And it's like...
I didn't think that the jokes necessarily worked, but I mean, I just thought that the opening was rather exciting. And I mean, I haven't really been comparing the films because it's, it's supposed to be...
I've tried not to.
Well, and I mean, it should stand on its own. It shouldn't just be, oh, here's the new Ghostbusters thing. It should be a good movie on its own.
Didn't they ruin it for you when they just cut to a shot of New York City and just put Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I thought that was weird because I thought the name of the film was Ghostbusters Answer the Call. Like, I thought that there was like an addendum to that. You know what I mean?
This was
that was the studio's way of
Ghostbusters.
saying "fuck you,"
and that wasn't okay. That wasn't okay.
First 5 minutes into it, middle finger.
That wasn't okay.
Right there.
So I agree with that. But I thought it was exciting, just to make my full point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought it was exciting until we realized that the stakes were like at nothing. Like, he was fine.
Yeah,
it didn't hurt him.
If he died, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
that's...
I got that.
But I mean, or maybe he disappeared. We haven't seen him in weeks. I mean, like, that would have... Well, can I finish without being interrupted by a man?
I'm just kidding. I need to mansplain this
No
to
mansplaining. I will fucking kill you.
Silly woman, sorry.
But I mean, just like I said, I think it totally took away how good the stakes could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is then they couldn't make the poopy in the pants joke.
Right, and like that was dumb, so I didn't like that, but
And kind of getting back to the effects of the ghosts, because that's where
you guys didn't like them? I thought they were good.
I fucking hated them.
Well, I mean, you're the visual effects guy.
I loathed them.
Okay, so what would you? I mean, how could they have been better? Like, because I thought it was
practical fucking effects.
I just thought it was cool that you could see like their ribs
or a
and
combination.
Shit. I don't know. I thought it was cool you could see
my
their
problem was
skeletons.
that, and this I hate to say it, but It depends on what type of movie you're going to tell.
Okay.
original
I didn't think they were
Ghostbusters
scary.
was those ghosts were scary. Okay, the fucking library ghost was fucking terrifying. Okay,
I thought they were pretty. I guess
that's the problem. These were pretty.
Okay.
These were over the top, fantastical.
Well,
they just looked like
films have been sanitized now. Nothing's scary anymore. If it's
I'm
supposed
not
to be
necessarily
for
in
kids.
that, but I mean, when you're dealing with ghosts, there's a lot of things you could pull from to make it truly terrifying. And instead, what we get is basically Scooby-Doo level quality ghost effects.
This felt like a Scooby-Doo episode.
It felt like a Scooby-Doo episode.
Only we knew who the villain was the whole time.
I was you pull it off and it's like, it's Paul Feig again.
Old man McGregor. Old man McGregor who runs the haunted house.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you kids.
Yeah, but it just kind of felt like they quite literally said, okay, have this actor stand against a green screen. We're going to throw some blue glow on him, give him some red eyes, and we're going to call it a fucking ghost. Okay, like that's what it felt like when you watch, and I hate to say, I'm comparing the original, but they did this to themselves, okay? They called it fucking Ghostbusters. What do you think I'm going to go look at?
You want to sell it?
Well, you look at the original.
Compare.
The original ghosts.
I want some ecto cooler right now.
I saw some the other day. I was at Replay Effects, and they had some.
Let's get that with some skull.
But
vodka.
anyway, my point is, the original ghosts were crafted to be terrifying. Okay.
Right. Well, you said it was made to be a horror movie.
It was made to be a horror movie.
It makes a difference.
So it's like you're comparing apples to watermelons. Okay.
Right.
That's the problem with this. Is that the ghosts
I wasn't trying
just
to
weren't.
compare. I mean, I just thought in and of themselves, I thought the technology was at a point where these ghosts were pretty beautifully rendered.
I just didn't find why they thought they were scary.
I mean, I didn't think they were scary either. I mean, if it was like maybe in my face, maybe I'd think it was weird. But I don't know. I thought that they were very beautifully done. Now, if there's a flaw in them being beautiful, then yeah, like I totally agree with you on that. I just thought that they were well done, and I thought that they were like fun to look at.
A couple reviews I read said that they felt that this was more or less kind of pulling from the real Ghostbusters cartoon series.
Oh, interesting.
In the standpoint that those ghosts were goofy and over the top and
I loved
scary.
the show.
I love the show too.
I remember the show more than I remember the
But I
movies
mean, that's kind of what people said. Is it felt like it was the real Ghostbusters ghosts.
Right.
And, getting back to kind of, John, your point, I didn't understand why the fuck the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was a balloon.
That was weird. I thought that was really weird.
There's inanimate objects can apparently be ghosts now. Right. So when I throw out my lamp, my lamp is going to come back and haunt me.
No, that bugged me a lot, actually, too, because I felt like a lot of the ghosts were corporeal when they should not have been. Do you want to talk about Slimer stealing a car with his girlfriend? Oh, my God.
No. I do not.
Get it out, sweetheart. Tell everybody. Tell them where he touched you.
He raped me, actually. Slimer raped me. That was the point where I almost walked out of the movie, was when Slimer is driving a car and he has a little Slimer girlfriend who's him with a wig on, and they're driving around.
Again, real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. I think they actually had an episode where Slimer had a girlfriend.
I think you're correct.
And here's the problem. He uses his ghost power to use the pedals, but then he still uses his hands to drive. Why does he even need to use his hands? But
well, like I said, I don't understand why he was corporeal or how he had agency over objects, because that didn't seem consistent throughout the film either.
Well, in the original film, here we go again.
They did this to themselves. Did this to themselves.
Do a shot every time we bring up the original film.
Don't call fucking Ghostbusters if you don't want us to compare it.
So remember when Slimer would eat something, it would just fall out his backside. Well, when I eat Mexican, it falls out my backside too. But it would just fall straight through him because he was a fucking ghost. And they're driving around in the goddamn car. I think there's a stupid ass song on at the same time, driving in their fucking goddamn it. There. All
right. That was eloquent. Thank you.
But speaking of the special effects and all that, you think they could use some of that sweet, sweet Pringle money to put in better effects?
You were so offended by the product placement.
Can we talk about product placement for a minute?
Please explain to me about the product placement.
All right. Well, the entire film was made so they could sell Twinkies, Pringles, and Papa John's. That was
and Slimer toys.
Cooler.
And Slimer toys.
Yeah, that was the whole reason this movie was made. So, we can sell some Pringles.
Suck it, nerds.
Pringles will give us all his money if we, But it was shameless. Now, when you see the original Spider-Man movie, the Sam Raimi one, he shoots a can of Dr. Pepper when he's learning how to use his webs. whatever, product placements are in movies, especially big movies like this. It happens. He shot a Dr. Pepper can. Immediately went on to the next thing. Okay, I'll live with it. Or when we were kids, I remember my buddy had Terminator 2, like his VHS tape had a commercial for Subway at the beginning, because VHS tapes, for all the kids that don't know what those are, we used to watch things on tape, is they used to have like
Don't be a hipster asshole about it. People know what tapes are.
Some people don't.
Some people don't.
I guess, but I know what records are, and they were past my time.
Well, they actually use that as a test online that for kids to make sure they're not under 18, like porn sites will put up a VHS tape and they'll say, "What is this?" And the kids can't answer
It's
it.
fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
But they had a commercial for Subway, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Terminator 2 had a Subway tie-in. It blew my mind. Then I'm watching the movie, and the scene where they're talking to Sarah Connor in the insane asylum, and they said, this is the guy that shot up the police department in 1984. We just took these from the Sarasota Mall today. It's the same guy. Like, we know you know who he is. Your son is missing. And she won't say anything because she's planning her escape that night. If you actually look in the shadows on that table is some crumpled up Subway wrappers and a Subway cup. I never noticed it.
I didn't notice it until you just told me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but can I?
Yeah, can I finish?
Larry, can I
finish? Sorry, I do have an immediate rebuttal to this though. So
in this movie,
make it snappy. No, I'm just kidding.
She walks in. Now she's a scientist, mind you, Kate McKinnon. She's a scientist. Walks into an investigation, chomping on Pringles, and I think they're like, "Hey, what you doing? Eating those delicious Pringles?" She's like, "I can't get enough. Once a pop, the fun don't stop. Pringles are delicious." And she holds up the can and winks at the camera. She
never calls them Pringles by name.
But she holds the can in a way that you can see the label. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure there's a scene where Kristen Wiig's being barfed on. They cut to Kate McKinnon in the background. Not cut to her, but it's a wide shot. And she doesn't have the can. So I think they reshot this to shoehorn the Pringles can into the scene. Which
could be a thing, but I just wonder if it's reasonable that if someone was being barfed on by a ghost that you would drop the Pringles can that you're holding.
But then there's a pickup shot of her looking shocked and surprised, and she has the can again.
Okay, but could she have picked it up again? I didn't catch it. So I didn't see if the cuts would have worked. Now, I hope you guys aren't looking at this with rose-colored glasses because we were constantly marketed to all of the time in every movie. Like, this isn't new. Right. Like, I watched fucking Camp Nowhere this morning, which if we ever want to do an episode about that, we totally can. I watched Camp Nowhere this morning. And it made me laugh because you were so pissed off. So we watched Ghostbusters on different nights. And I would not let you talk to me about it because I wanted the show to be good. But he had to get the Pringles thing out. He's like, I have to tell you one thing. And he said it before I had seen the movie. So I knew it pissed you off. But in Camp Nowhere, there is a scene where this kid is holding the Pringles can. And not only is the Pringles more visible, it's actually closer to camera than it was in the Ghostbusters movie. So, this shit's been happening for years, Buttercup. I don't know why you're so mad now.
Certainly. Richie Rich had a McDonald's in his house.
Yeah.
Right, but I just don't understand why you're upset about this when this is just par for the course.
Personally,
these placements pay for the movies, period.
Yeah, personally, I don't have too much of an issue with the product placement, mainly because this isn't an art house film. This is a summer blockbuster. It's going to be junk food. It's going to have shit all in it, no matter what.
Candy and pop and all that shit.
Well, I think my biggest problem with it is not that. I do have a problem with it and shoehorned into movies, but the fact that I know that this movie was made to sell these products. That's the only reason they made it. Nobody said, I've had a dream to make a Ghostbusters reboot.
Actually, one person did.
I think they just fucked it up.
And he passed away. That's what happened.
R.I.P. Harold Ramis. We love you.
That's the thing.
We miss
that guy
so much.
did have a dream to make a sequel to Ghostbusters.
Well,
and he died.
He's as dead as
they
my
didn't want
insides.
to make the second one. They just did a big bag of cocaine. This is a true story. And wrote the movie in a weekend.
It's true.
Just doing more coke than Tony Montana.
But he did want to do a third.
That's why Ghostbusters 2 is the same as Ghostbusters 1. And Bill Murray, I don't think he ever wanted to be in the first one, for God's sake.
Yeah, but I think what Brian's saying though is Harold Ramis did have pure intentions. He just passed away before he could see the film come to fruition.
Yeah, for me, just regarding the product placement didn't bug me that much.
I'm used to it.
Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time.
And there's product placement all over the fucking place.
Ridiculous.
So riddled with
Pepsi free and Miller and all that shit.
Really bad. Really bad.
Mr. Coffee also, Mr.
Texaco.
Fusion, Texaco, all over the place. Yeah. So I didn't have too much of an issue with that. Yeah, my biggest issue was just it just wasn't good.
I just thought the story wasn't that good, but I mean, for what it was, my expectations were so low that, like, for the time I was sitting in the theater, now, admittedly, I had an adult beverage in my hand, but, like, I didn't have a bad time.
You know, I did not have any expectations yet. I had very low expectations, but I was perfectly willing to be proven wrong. And I know there are some people that are listening to this podcast and are going to say, you're never going to be happy. If I loved the movie, I would have happily come in here and said too. I loved it.
But more importantly, I think what we do need to kind of recognize, and we've said this before, like in our preview, like speaking about it, I mean, the level of representation in the film, I think, is something that needs to be seen. You know, I mean, we have an openly gay actress. We have 3 actresses in their 40s, and we have a black woman in the movie as well. And these are the leads. These are the leads of the film. That is not insignificant, and that is, if anything else, I mean, there are a lot of feminist reasons to go see the movie, and that's one of them. The representation is very good.
I'll give it that. I definitely agree with the representation.
That's important.
I think that's extremely important. I think the fact that these characters, you know, are kicking ass in this movie, and it's not in a sexualized way,
right? And
is very important.
That's what we had read in the that I mentioned earlier, the Erin Ramsey piece from Medium.com.
Yeah.
That I had said, like, she had the same experience with, you know, not being one of the guys and not being able to play in that way. She specifically calls out the ending scene with Kate McKinnon when she is kicking ass, and she's doing it in a fucking jumpsuit, and she's not doing it for, like, the romantic, like, sweeping kiss at the end of the movie. She's not doing it for any other reasons than just to save herself, her friends, and the world, and she doesn't look like an object doing it. Like, that is something that you don't fucking see in the movies. I mean, even as much as you want to love certain movies, I mean, you know, you can see badass women, but they are always sexualized. I mean, I myself have very confusing feelings about the new Wonder Woman movie. She is beautiful, but, like, she is objectified because she is not wearing pants.
Who is it coming from? It's coming from Zack Snyder, the same guy who made
right, but that's what we usually get. And from
Zack Snyder's not directing the Wonder Woman film. Actually,
he's not.
Is. No,
okay.
Good.
It's a lady director.
But what I'm saying is, and I hate to say as a woman, but as a woman, seeing Kate McKinnon do that, like, I mean, that's not precedented. I mean, even as badass as, say, Black Widow is in the Avengers movie, she's in skin tight spandex, and I mean, just to see someone do it.
In Age of Ultron, they relegated her to having a romantic relationship with Hulk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's like, why is this necessary?
Even though I felt in the first one, she kind of had like a thing for Hawkeye a little bit there.
They're besties. They're besties. Yeah. That's the thing now.
Now, what's she gonna want to bang Iron Man in Avengers 3?
Yeah, and it's just like to see what happened in that film in Ghostbusters, that's not insignificant. And if there's a reason to see the movie, I think that is fucking it. To see that moment where you have someone just in this like shapeless, drab like outfit, absolutely owning it. And two, like one thing that I thought was really great is that the characters don't talk about guys in the movie. That's not something that I
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Kristen Wiig.
Her bit with that wasn't. There was no conversation about a relationship.
And Kate McKinnon both talked about how hunky Thor was,
and
over and over again.
What movie were you watching? Kate McKinnon didn't once.
Yes, she did.
No, she looked at them like they were an alien species. No way. And there was actually reports that like the studio would not let them release her sexuality in the film, but she was not straight in that movie. No way. Absolutely not.
Brian, I didn't get a sense of the Kate McKinnon
thought there
part.
was one line where she did
I think
say
she
that.
did.
I love you both, but you are wrong.
Okay.
She was not into Chris Hemsworth at all.
I did only see it once.
But it was only played for laughs. Her being a fool in front of him, they never had a conversation about, like, I really want to ask him out on a date. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about, you know?
Right. No, she just wanted to get straight to the butt play.
Whatever. They played it for a joke, but it wasn't a conversation that they had. I love how immune to you I am, by the way, because you just said butt play and Brian laughed, and I was like, nope, I'm still talking.
She wanted Thor to take her to the bone zone.
And I mean, that's what he was there for. He was the eye candy. It was a joke. He was played for a joke. And we can talk about that, too, if you guys want.
If you're going to say,
but like, she and Abby never sat down and talked about boys. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely right. But I'm just saying, like, to go ahead and say, well, there was never any talk of it. That did happen.
Okay, I mean they played it for a joke, but
they played it for a joke, but it
wasn't something that was like they had a conversation about.
No, it's not like we're gonna go up to the treehouse and talk about boys,
right? But that's a lot of times what movies are. You know, like with a cast of women, that's all they fucking talk about is like feeling insecure about their jobs. You know, feeling like they're not good enough, like hating themselves, hating their bodies, or talking about men. That wasn't in this movie. You know, that was important.
That's what I'll say is I will give this movie is that. I definitely did get the sense that the female Ghostbusters were able to kick ass just like anyone else.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't have to be about, supporting somebody else.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Like a man.
I just felt there were a lot of slights against that maybe muddled that message.
And I could see that, but again, like I said, part of me just has to say, like, how does it feel, fuckers? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I felt the film turned into a video game when they're like, these are ghost punching gloves, and
I thought that was cool because it was like showing her experiences and how like she was like crushing her craft and like getting good at stuff, man.
I will say it was nice to see them trying out the weapons. Like that part I did like.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool
you never got that in the original. Just like, oh yeah, we got the fucking proton packs now.
Yeah, but I mean, and they didn't just have the
that part was
proton
nice.
packs. Like I thought it was cool that they were playing with it.
I thought the secondary weapons I thought were not that great though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought that the guns at the end that Kate McKinnon had, I thought those were cool.
They were toys. They were toys that they can sell in toy stores.
But like, if you're bothered by that, like you're in the wrong movie. Like, of course that was what it was. That's why Slimer didn't bother me at all. Of course he was fucking in it to sell toys.
Batman and Robin, they change outfits in the movies just so they could sell extra action figures.
So you should be used to it by now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't even anything
you can still call it.
Used to it.
But that's the thing is John's basically saying that yes, that happened in this movie.
But we're gonna see it in Suicide Squad. When we see that, it's gonna be product placement and let's make toys and all that bullshit. Like, it's gonna be the same.
Do you think there'll be Suicide Squad?
I don't think it will necessarily be in Suicide Squad.
Is it R? Is it actually R?
I think it's probably PG-13.
I think it's pretty damn near close to.
Is it?
R.
Who knows?
Might be PG-13.
All right.
But no, I don't think you're going to get that type of vibe in Suicide Squad.
I think you're going to get product placement though.
I cannot see toys of Suicide Squad popping up.
I don't know.
Maybe like man-child toys, like once you don't take
Mechets and shit.
They're called collectibles, and how dare you?
Yeah. No, I just thought with the weapons, Patty's weapon that just like chops up ghosts. Makes no fucking sense.
That one was dumb, but like I said, the like double guns was fun.
The double guns was cool. I thought the gauntlet was stupid.
What about the rock'em sock'em punching gloves?
I thought the punch was cool.
The puncher.
It turned it into a video game. I really expected to see a score in the corner
really did
during the final.
Really did, and I think that kind of lends to the whole feeling that the stakes were not really that high.
And that's the problem with every movie
because the whole
these days.
fucking movie turned into, there's really no challenge to defeating ghosts. You just punch them or you suck them up with a chopper thing and they all turn to slime. That was the other thing too. Why does every ghost fucking turn to slime?
I don't know.
Why do they even capture them? Why do they even have to capture them if they just turn to slime?
And they're ghosts. It's not like they're not dead already. They kind of are. Like,
true. And there's no crisis of conscience.
There's no crisis of conscience.
Right.
What are you killing? You're killing something that's already dead.
I'll tell you though, if I ever made a blockbuster myself, I promise you, I would kill off like the best character just to fucking prove a point and be like, the fucking stakes are high.
You'd pull a Joss Whedon.
Fuck yeah, I would.
Or a Hitchcock.
Yeah.
But so you know what I was really upset about in this movie? In the original, Dan Aykroyd gets a blowjob. Why was there no ghost muff diving in this movie?
Jesus,
come on,
Christ, man.
What? It could have been a lady ghost, and it could have gone down on Kate McKinnon. It would have been very progressive and very artfully shot by Mr. Paul Feig.
Did we specifically talk about how terrible Dan Aykroyd's?
Yeah, we did.
Let's talk about the cameos.
Awful.
Let's say where they. So Bill Murray basically is trolling himself.
He's calling
the film
it in.
and the fans.
He phoned
that shit in so hard.
He phoned that shit and just be like, yeah, what, you girls didn't go ahead and catch a ghost? Let me see it.
And he didn't get a single fuck.
Does he die or is just seriously hurt?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, no, he's fuck killed.
And the thing is, Kristen Wiig's character
Where was his ghost?
Right?
Well,
hey, he got his paycheck and he went back to Bermuda, you know?
I'm going to go back to performing in Jason Schwartzman movies.
But the thing is, like, Kristen Wiig's character is made to look like a total idiot because this guy questions her. First off, why is he there? Why do they let him in? He has no right to be there.
Because they're moron secretary, like man-cretary.
Yeah, but just tell him to leave.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
And then he sits there and he eggs her on, and she lets the ghost out. This thing is the first 45 to 50 minutes of the movie, capturing an actual ghost. And she goes, "Oh yeah, let me show you, ass face."
Well, again,
and then that was escapes.
It was a part of her arc that we didn't really see her work through. She wanted so badly to be believed, but it wasn't well written, so that wasn't that clear.
So much time trying to catch that ghost, and then
I know, but I'm saying like that would have been a good character flaw.
One douchebag goes ahead and
because the whole point of the movie, right, is like nobody believes her, but she knows they're real. So what does she trade off? Like she at first wanted to be legitimized so badly, but then she realized the work that she was doing was so fulfilling it didn't fucking matter who believed her.
Correct.
That was the arc, but it was just a fucking shattered mess. You know? So that was part of it. That was why. It was a moment of weakness where she so badly wanted this asshole to believe her.
So that was Bill. He was a non-believer of ghosts.
When you missed who missed Harold Ramis? That was you,
That
right?
was me, yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually the first one. That was the
first one.
I didn't see that.
It was right
just
after
a bust.
Charles Dance had walked past and you saw his
he was just a bust in the
Then near the end of the movie, they need to fly down a taxi, and
Kristen Wiig does,
and then it's bloated Dan Aykroyd just in there.
I mean,
wait, Dan Aykroyd's a crazy person. We know this, right? You guys are aware of the fact that he's a crazy person.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah, he's way nuts. Gone off the deep end.
My friend that I actually went with, she was like, was that Dan Aykroyd? I was like, yeah, dude, he does not look good.
I love the fact that he's like, this one might even be better than the one that I made. I was like,
well,
he was the producer on the film.
He was the one.
You don't have a financial stake in saying such garbage, do you?
Yeah,
but he just said, I don't go up there. I ain't afraid.
It's a class 4 vapor. Like he actually used the term.
Yeah, like he used the terminology.
And so I guess you could kind of maybe make the surmise that he's the only one who actually plays himself from the original, like his character.
Which is dumb because like if you're gonna do that,
why not do it with everybody?
Yeah, or like let's not do that with everybody because you're fucking rebooting this for whatever god awful reason. Like you can't. I mean, I don't think that they can exist in the same universe. I just don't think it works.
And then I'll avoid Sigourney Weaver and it's Annie Potts. Is that who plays Ginny?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Annie Potts. Yeah, I'll ignore those two. But just talking about the main Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I don't know. Annie Potts is what I thought was actually the successful.
Okay, well I'll let you handle this.
Yeah, because she was a clerk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But so they get a hearse because Leslie Jones's uncle owns a funeral home, and that she finds a hearse. They're kind of explaining where they got the ecto, and they
trick it out.
Yeah, and they trick it out to be the car that they use. And at the they keep mentioning her uncle over and over and over again. And at the very end of the movie, her uncle pulls up, and it's Ernie Hudson,
who is the only one who actually looks good.
Oh yeah, black don't crack, my friend. He looks good.
What
the fuck did you just say? Oh my God!
I said black don't crack. Did you not hear me?
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Okay, I'm just ignoring you. But to go through the movie, they kept mentioning her uncle. I have to say, I feel so stupid, but like I did not see it coming.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't realize it was. I'm sure you did.
Actually, I didn't. But the thing is, I didn't care, so I wasn't trying to find it.
I realized like the second before he came out of the car, I was like, I know where her uncle's gonna be.
Well, I think that's probably because when she initially mentions the uncle, we had only maybe gone through about 2 cameos.
It's true.
At that point, so we didn't quite know.
And I didn't realize it was.
Were we getting cameo, ham-fisted every 20 minutes?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be all of them.
Towards the end.
Sure. That's for sure. But yeah, I thought they were really bad. I didn't like the cameos for the most part.
Annie Potts was funny.
Sigourney Weaver's comes in at the end when she's like supposed to be Gillian Holtzman's to her mentor, and then at the hotel where like all the stuff goes down, that's where Annie Potts is at. She's a like reception, like a desk person,
concierge.
Yeah, concierge. That's the word I wanted so badly. And it seemed like they cut a lot of the movie out because in the credits you could see like a big dancing scene where like Chris Hemsworth was making them all dance.
This really pissed me off.
So yeah.
This really pissed me off. So the army comes, the National Guard and the army's there and the police and fire, and they're all ready to stop Chris Hemsworth and we need to talk about how he got to this point. But Chris Hemsworth is possessed by the dead villain. The villain kills himself. It's all part of his plan.
That's all you got to say. Yeah. That's really all you need
That's
to
it.
And so Chris Hemsworth, he's standing on top of the building. It's like, and just zaps all the military guys and police guys. And they all point like they're gonna dance.
They're discoing.
By the way, I'm pointing in the room. This is a audio podcast, and I'm pointing.
It happens, bro. It's fine.
But yeah, like a big dance number is going to break out,
or just ended.
Yeah, and it goes nowhere. Mm-hmm. It goes nowhere. And then I'm watching.
They clearly cut it out for time.
Well, and then I'm watching the credits, and there's the dance scene. Like, that would have been possibly the only good thing in the whole movie. I would have laughed my ass off if he just made like a big like mask dance scene. But no,
the mask dancing. Yeah, it's true.
Chicky boom, chicky boom. But no, instead they just cut it out of the movie. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That would have been awesome. But all it does is create the very, very visually confusing scene where they're all ready to dance and then it never comes.
They're just frozen.
Just frozen.
Frozen in dance move.
Yeah.
Because, that's the worst thing that someone with all that power could do to somebody.
I mean, come on.
It's the worst thing. Worst possible thing.
That guy wanted the apocalypse. He could have nuked the Earth in an instant.
He could have turned them all into Jello.
I mean, he could have
explain this.
He could have turned them all into ecto.
And
we go.
And then Kate McKinnon could have been like, "This ecto's delicious with Pringles."
If
and
only
then
we
Papa
could.
John could have come in.
Whatever.
Or my personal favorite would be
Kate
if
McKinnon, call me.
Is if she went ahead and drank some of that ecto. I'm like, you know what? If only I had some Crystal Skull vodka to add to this ecto.
Dude, that was our idea. We wanted to have ecto
that.
and Crystal Skull vodka. You want in on this? We want to like get fucking drunk, Ghostbusters style.
But yeah, so part of his plan is to kill himself, the villain. I'm going to call him the villain because I don't know what his name is.
Internet troll number 1.
Internet troll, yeah. But he kills himself because it's all part of his plan. And then he is kind of all powerful. But why does he possess people when later in the movie he is floating around? He turns himself into a logo. He turns himself into a monster. He can be anywhere at any time. Why does he need a human host at all? Is it
just he had to turn on the machine?
Just do it with your ghost power. You apparently have all the powers.
He doesn't have,
like I said, there was inconsistencies.
There was a lot of
in
inconsistencies.
The, corporeality
or turn himself into a
ghosts.
monster that can turn the switch.
I mean, that would have worked.
Apparently, this one ghost had all the powers of. I guess so.
Yeah.
This one ghost had all the powers of Gozer without being called Gozer.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That was fucking Gozer, but not Gozer.
Yeah, and then the whole movie is just like,
Nerdser.
they stop Ghost and then they just cut to him at a diner like, me, I'll get you guys. I'm like,
and like everybody hated him everywhere he went. Did you guys pick up on that? Like,
yes.
The waitresses were like, it's your turn to wait on him this time. He's fucking weird. Like it was so funny.
We haven't talked about the worst cameo of all. Ozzy fucking Osbourne.
Yeah.
Oh, how have we gone this long without talking about Ozzy?
Oh my god, that was. I thought it was 2006 all over again.
Sharon.
It's like Sharon left your ass, Ozzy.
Dude, I looked at my friend and we both were like, "What the actual fuck just happened?"
Yeah. That was the kind of movie we were watching.
I wonder if that was Dan Aykroyd's call. Like, hey guys, let me get Ozzy in here. Ozzy, he loves that.
He's an alien. Dude, Brian, that's not a bad Aykroyd.
I just pulled it out of my ass right now.
You did. Nicely done.
My favorite is in the original film that he's supposed to be from New York, but he says, "Oh, fake man, I'm Surrey." He's Canadian. It's like, Ivan Reitman didn't hear that and tell him to say it correctly. Tell him sorry, not Surrey.
But yeah, God. So I mean, I thought that all the cameos were really unsuccessful, which is a shame.
Obviously, the riffing, the unbelievable characters, but also just the pacing in the movie. It felt like we built up. We had to learn how they became the Ghostbusters and how everything was happening, and then it felt like we just immediately jumped into the third act.
Yeah,
we jumped right into the conclusion. The pacing of the movie was piss awful.
Like I said, I mean, I had fun when I was there, and now that I'm thinking about it, it might have just been the maker's mark. But I just think there were some fundamental problems with the writing that just the film couldn't succeed because it just didn't have a good enough script.
I just think.
But at the same time, for lady reasons, it's important for people to see it. So I'm torn.
For me, it's a matter of this is a movie that was manufactured simply for the fact to make money. The controversy was manufactured
to make more money.
This is not going to solve real sexism out there. I don't see it.
Yeah, but
it's. I will give you that. It is good to see women kicking ass in a non-sexualized
for, like, little
way.
Kids. Like, I mean, little kids need to see that shit.
I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah.
I get that. I think that is the one bright spot you could say about this film is that this is a movie where women are kicking ass, and it's not sexualized at all.
Yeah.
But aside from that,
that's important.
Aside from that, that's a bright spot surrounded by a lot of shit.
Star Wars did it right.
Lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean that's true because
Star Wars did do it right.
If I have a little girl, I'll show her Frozen. I'll show her Star Wars: The Force Awakens, but I'm not showing her this movie.
I will say that if you're gonna go ahead and pick which movie,
it's true. It's just
I'd say Rey was probably better than.
I don't know, guys. I can't tell you how important it was that all of them were women. You know what I mean? Like, because Rey is just one character in a midst of a ton of dudes. And yeah, she's the main character, but still, like, there's so many guys, you know, around her, and there really isn't that many other females in the film. You know, there's like
Princess
3.
Leia.
Yeah, and then
General Leia, excuse me.
General Leia, and then General Organa, and then the lady stormtrooper, Phasma,
Captain Toy.
That's it. I mean, that's it. That's it. You know, but like for the 4 main characters to be female, like that means something to me, and I can't walk away from that. Like the film has a ton of problems.
Don't you think
but
that particular fact was designed specifically to make money?
It doesn't. I mean, I agree with you, but the film exists now, and that doesn't matter because a little girl needs to see that and be like, oh, wait, what does Gillian Holtzman do? Yeah. She's my favorite character in the movie. She's an engineer. I want to do that. Like, I mean, that's the good that can come from the evil of its creation.
Good for you guys for remembering these characters' names. Like, I usually don't rember them in movies I liked.
Well, didn't we figure out who was the what? And we agreed that like someone's the balls and someone's is the brains, or I don't know. We brained out on this one.
We brained out on that one.
We did brains.
The audience is so confused right now, but
they really are.
Yeah, the ending was hapdash. I almost laughed my ass off when they were in the portal vortex.
Well, again, like, that part,
the ghost zone.
That part made no sense Phantom. Because they were immediately like good. So like there was no conflict between them. So her saving her made a lot of fucking sense. Like
the special effects shot was just so bad. And by the way, they have a nuclear reactor on the top of their car.
Oh, and it was weird that their hair turned white when they came through the like portal. What was that about?
Things that don't make fucking sense.
So in case people haven't seen this. So yeah, there is a vortex that's opened up, and then, you know, Kate McKinnon says, hold on, Pringles, but also we can...
Dude, she's eye-banging me the whole time, though, and I don't care.
Hold on, Pringles.
She does, like, sometimes, yeah, she has that look on her face where I wish she wasn't playing for the other team. But anyways, she's like, we can just shoot our car, and then it'll go in the vortex and make a nuclear explosion, and it'll close it. You know, complete platonic reversal, which they set up in the
photonic
first film.
Reversal.
Yeah. Which they set up in the first film, and then it paid off. But in this one, they just throw it slapdash at the end, and they just... How'd you drive around with a car with a nuke on top?
That makes no sense at all.
It was only bad if they hit it with their guns.
What if they got in a car accident?
Yeah,
it's New York.
They're
New York.
They're terrorists.
Thinking, but I don't
they're
think,
terrorists.
I don't think the like normal means was going to
drive around with a dirty bomb.
Yeah, they're driving around with a nuclear warhead. They're terrorists. They're like
that's what we're going to get
ghost
the comments
busting
about.
ISIS.
That we called the Ghostbusters terrorists.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get in trouble for. I don't want to play with you guys anymore. You fuckers always get us in trouble.
You'll be April O'Neil, and we'll be the Ghostbusters.
If you handcuff me to a tree, I will murder you both.
Shh, quiet, lady. The men are talking.
I will murder you both in your sleep.
But
that was like
the
a little
end of the movie.
That was like a little rough. But what happens is that like Abby, so Melissa McCarthy's character, she gets sucked into the vortex, and then Kristen Wiig, you know, Erin is the character name. She goes in after her. And that would have been a really satisfying payoff if they had been constantly in conflict the whole movie, because it would have been like, you know, no matter what happens, you're my dog, you know. But it's not like that. They're like immediately good. There's no tension, and thereby this ending had no payoff. It was dumb. Yeah. That was dumb.
Well, the movie was dumb.
But I said, like, I'm just torn because it's important and I had fun. It wasn't terrible. Well, but I recommend alcohol.
I think that's the big thing to
I recommend alcohol.
Is that this movie was not terrible.
Which is a shame that that's like the best accolade we can give it.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't the god-awful mess that I think a lot of people thought it was going to be.
A god-awful mess.
Yeah, from the trailer.
Okay, the trailer pretty much made it look like you're watching shit on screen for 90 minutes.
I feel like we have a really good benchmark for god-awful messes because Batman v Superman was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen.
It wasn't as bad as Independence Day Regurgitation.
Yeah, Independence Day Regurgitation I think was worse.
I can't remember which one made me want to die more. We'll call it a tie.
Independence Day 2. Electric.
I'd say, yeah, Independence Day Regurgitation
Independence Day
worse.
Regurgitation made me like the first one more, which is really bad.
Yeah.
So maybe it wins.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I think is so odd about this movie, is that if it wasn't called Ghostbusters, it would be forgotten in 5 minutes.
I think it's going to be forgotten regardless.
I kind of agree with Brian on that one.
I think this movie had its controversy, and that's the only reason people paid attention to it. Mm-hmm. And because its name was Ghostbusters. But honestly, I don't see people remembering this movie for 30 years. Not like the original.
No.
Okay? The original's a classic. It always will be a classic.
But the original was lightning in a bottle. It was the zeitgeist
and that's
kind of movie.
what I'm saying.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. And you can't manufacture that. And that's what I wish the studios would learn. Like, put all this money and resources into a new fucking idea and then try to recreate that. Don't just try to remanufacture something that, occurred organically and naturally.
Well, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were big stars at the time, but I can't even believe the studio agreed to them. Like, we want to make a movie
they went
about
through a
fighting ghosts.
bunch of different studios. A lot of studios turned them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's how
because
that's
they were like, the premise is kind of stupid.
Yeah,
and it wasn't but it did work, and you know what? We're talking about it 30 years later. Mm-hmm. But this movie, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be forgotten. It's not going to last a couple months. Okay, it'll do its DVD Blu-ray run and that whole thing, and they might crank out another sequel,
Pringles.
But it's not going to be anywhere near as remembered, as beloved as the original. This is fluff. It's summer fluff. That's what we watched, and
it was like cotton candy.
Yes,
it's
and
not
for all
horrible.
the part about the fact that there are positive feminist roles in this, I agree with that.
And I can separate the two. I mean, I'm not saying that it was a good movie because it wasn't. I'm saying that it was important.
The point is that it's just fluff. It's manufactured controversy.
And what's a shame is like you had these 4 great actresses, in a variety of backgrounds, like, and why couldn't you do better for them and do better by them?
That's my biggest problem. That's one of my biggest problems with it is that you've got fantastic comedians.
Mm-hmm. Comedians with 2 N's.
But they're given the worst possible story and script and the worst possible direction. That now you've got issues where they're being attacked personally, but it's not their fault. Like, I mean, the whole Leslie Jones Twitter bullshit.
That was gross. I mean,
that was horrible.
That wasn't a comment on her performance at all. That was just hatred and
no, but I mean, just
being
saying,
racist,
like,
you know what I mean?
Because
she was great in that.
Yeah,
and they can go fuck themselves.
But it was just, why are they why
put them through the
shit
when it's not good?
Yes,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's putting them through a gauntlet that didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go ahead and have Paul Feig basically bash every fucking Ghostbusters fan who just said, listen, I kind of have an issue with you marketing off of my original. It's not I'm against women. It's just I feel this is kind of like taking a shit.
Yeah, because there were a couple of really prominent YouTubers that had
like
that
James
point, right?
Rolfe. James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. He got bashed and called him misogynist and sexist and all this stuff. Richard Roper, he got bashed too because of his review. Mm-hmm. So my problem is that you've got the studios and you've got the director who are basically saying, well, fuck you, original fans. I don't give a shit.
And you must hate women.
You must hate women because you just don't want me to shove this shit down your throat.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That is one of the primary problems is that, and honestly, like I had a friend of mine, he said, well, it got a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes, so it must be good. And I said, well, maybe it's the fact that people don't want to be honest about the movie because they're afraid that they're going to be viewed as a sexist or misogynist if they say they don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I think the big a lot of people's fear nowadays.
It's probably easier for women to be honest about it because hopefully you would assume that they're not, against their own gender. Because for me, it was confusing because, like I said,
but I mean,
so much of it made me happy.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that the movie was good.
But I mean, I've seen a lot of female YouTubers in particular. I think Comic Book Girl 19, I think, is one, who said a lot of the same things I brought up.
Oh, yeah.
That were just like, I said a lot of stuff, and I wasn't called a misogynist.
Right. Well, like we said, it's manufactured chaos.
But the fact that a man says it, it's suddenly, they must be misogynist, they must hate women. It's like, no. The fans of the original who called out this movie, yes, some of them were, hateful, misogynists that just didn't want female Ghostbusters. But I think a lot of them, the vast majority, they reached the point of saturation with manufactured nostalgia reboot shit.
And I think
I didn't want Total Recall. Sorry.
Neither did
I didn't want Total Recall. I didn't want RoboCop remade. I didn't want others remade. And I didn't want Ghostbusters.
And I think that was the concern that stemmed from a lot of people. But, too, I think in a general way in society, I mean, I do think that we're less and less open to criticism. I think that people just get really defensive, and I think that there are a lot of instances in which like that sort of thing can go really wrong, because I think that there are awful communities where the hatred and that can be promoted. But I think that we're less and less open to criticism in general. Like like we said in the beginning of the show, the thing with the Killing Joke where that producer was like super defensive. I just feel like people aren't ready to stand behind something the whole way because they know that they're being underhanded and just trying to get money. Right.
But I just felt that if Paul Feig wanted to go ahead and prove us all wrong, make a better movie.
I mean,
that's my thing.
And it just makes me so furious because, like, you want to tell me that there is nobody in Hollywood that could have written a fucking better movie than that? Like, I don't believe that. Like, someone could have written a better movie than that.
Well, there was a better movie. It's still the Ghostbusters video game on PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Just play that if you want to see a really good,
that got great reviews,
that did
right?
get good
I didn't
reviews.
play that.
A lot of people said that's the third Ghostbusters.
That's cool. That's cool.
But
well,
guys, I'm exhausted. We had so many thoughts and feelings.
Almost got to 2 hours.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, longest show ever.
Hey, folks, please. Well, I'm saying at the end of the podcast, please just listen to the whole thing. It's worth it.
Yeah,
at the end of the podcast.
Listen to the whole thing.
All right.
Okay.
If you got here already, then
good job for you.
You made it to the end, and we appreciate you.
Please be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Psycho Show. I mean, honestly, after listening to this, you might want to send us angry hate mail or anything like that.
We welcome.
We'll take it.
We welcome intellectual discourse. Yes. But if you're just going to poke the bear, we're not going to play.
I mean, yeah. If you're going to not listen to the whole thing, I mean, we both we didn't tear each other apart, but at the same time, I think we had a nice conversation about this film.
Definitely. And I don't think we were too far disagreed. No. I mean, I think I just had fun and you guys didn't, Yeah. So that's okay.
I'll just say bring it on, assholes.
Okay.
You are an aggressive lad, aren't you? You are just aggressive and you're just a really good time. You're a good time.
I'm kidding. I love you all. Except you, Ted.
If you have a favorite movie you would like for us to go ahead and review or question that you want to pose to us, you can go contact us at our website, cinemapsychoshow.com. There's a contact page now, and there's a bio, at least, about John. Not John, you're the only one who hasn't given me stuff yet.
I suck.
Yeah. But myself and Elaine have bios up there. And
yeah.
So the site's somewhat finished.
I'm like the Joker. I have no definitive origin story.
Oh my God, that was incredible and so fucking nerdy.
So go ahead and go to the contact section of the page and just shoot us a comment. Also be sure to subscribe to us to catch our next show, available every Friday.